Hello, this is Dr. Hawkins again, and today I want to talk about Karnaugh maps again, but this time with four input variables. You can see we have a Karnaugh map on the screen already with a truth table there. It's got A, B, C, and D for my four variables. Of course, with four variables, we can have 16 combinations, 0 through 15. And so we have to double the size of our Karnaugh map. And notice we have two variables across the top, A and B, just like we had before with the two variable map. But now instead of just C going down vertically on the left, we have C and D. And notice also that both horizontally and vertically, we have the gray code where we go 0, 1, 3, 2. 0, 1, 3, 2. And they correspond directly. This would be 0, 0, 0, 0, this top left corner. So that would be 0, 0, 0, 0 there. And you match them up 1 to 1 and fill in the ones and zeros here. I'll do that on the next page. Before we get to that, though, let's go ahead and designate, or point out at least, where the different variables cover. Just like before, where A is 1, that's these two columns, that is A. Where A is 0, the left two columns, that is not A. I'm going to put B down on the bottom here. B is 1 in the two middle columns, so that is B. And then the two outer columns are B not. That's the same as before. Now we've added a D here, so we're going to be a little more, it's going to be the same pattern basically. C is going to be where C is 1. That's C. Where C is 0 is C naught. And we'll put D over here on the right. Where D is 1, that's the two middle rows. That is D. And then the top and bottom rows where D is 0 are D naught. So the D's work kind of like the B's. They are just like the B's, except horizontally where the B's are vertically. And the C's work just like the A's. C's the first digit, A's the first digit, so they work just like D's the first digit, or the second digit here. B's the second digit there, so they work in the same pattern. So let's move to the next page. I did go ahead and pre-fill the Karnaugh map this time, but I do want to point out an easy method for doing this. Notice my first four lines here all have A, B, 0, 0, which is that first column there. So you can copy just those first four down into the first column as long as you remember that the bottom two reverse. So instead of 0, 0, 0, 1, I have 0, 0, 1, 0. Remember, I reversed the bottom two. The next four, A, B is 0, 1. That's the second column, again with the bottom two reversed. And it's identical to the first one. Actually, 0, 0, 0, 1 becomes 0, 0, 1, 0. Now, be careful, because the next four are where A is 1 and B is 0. That skips the 3 column and goes to the 2 column here. Remember the gray code. So, and again, we're going to flip the bottom two. So these four, starting with 8 here, 8, 9, 10, and 11, are 1, 1, 0, 1 in the truth table, but we flip the bottom two, so it'll be 1, 1, 1, 0. And then finally the bottom four, where A is 1 and B is 1, that's the third column now. And again, the bottom two will flip. So instead of 0, 1, 0, 1, I get 0, 1, 1, 0. 0. So there's my Karnaugh map for this particular example. Now, once again, I want to look for groupings as large as possible. I can do straight lines, horizontal or vertical. I can do squares or rectangles. I cannot do diagonals. I can overlap from one side to the other from top to bottom, which I don't see any in this particular example, but I'll show you some examples of that once I finish this example. So let's go ahead now and I'm going to pick red again from the first color, and let's do that horizontal row right there and call it M1. Remember, M stands for min term. Each one of our groupings will produce a min term, and then my output will be the sum of the min terms. So let's pick a different color. Let's go green. And here's a grouping of 4 I can use, and it doesn't matter if they overlap. Now, that's fine, as long as you include all of the ones in some group somewhere. It doesn't matter if some ones are in more than one group, more than one min term. So we'll call this M2. And then finally, let's go yellow for the last one. Only a group of 2 there. M3. To give myself just a little more room, take this off. Rewrite it up here, I guess. All right, let's look at M1 first. That's the red one. M1, the red one here. First of all, let's see how it does. It's in both A naught and B. It's in both A and A naught. It's in both B and B naught. So we exclude those 2 variables from this min term. But it is in all in C and all in D. So this one will simply be CD. M2, that's the square one over to the right. Notice that it is all in A, so we're going to include an A there. It's in both B and B naught here, so we don't include a B. It is in both D and D naught, so we don't include a D. Well, I didn't do that right. It's in both C and C naught, excuse me. Here, C and C naught, so we don't include the C. But then it's all in D, D's1, D's1 for both rows, so we will include a D there. And then finally, we have M3. Now, I want you to notice before I do M3, both the groups we already did had 4 members, and that produced min terms that had 2 variables. All right. If I have a group of 8, that'll only produce 1 variable, A or B naught or whatever. We don't have one of those here, but that would reduce that min term to just a single variable. Having a group of 2 is going to give us a group of 3 variables added together. So here we have, we're in both D and D naught. So D is excluded. But we're all in A, all in B naught, all in C naught. So that one's going to be A, B naught, C naught. In fact, I want to move that up here because I want to draw my ladder logic below that. So Y now, my output, is the sum of the three minterms, or CD, or AD, or A, B naught, C naught. Now you could, well, I did that wrong. See, that shouldn't be an A naught there. All right, CD, AD, A, B naught, C naught. Now, we could factor some things out of there if we wanted to. We could factor a or factor a D rather, out of the first two terms, or we could factor a out of the second two terms. But it really doesn't bias anything in terms of what our ladder, it would make our ladder logic a little different. It wouldn't make it any simpler. So typically, I'm going to leave it just like this. And so my ladder logic, remember that ORs are in parallel and ANDs are in series. So we're going to have three parallel branches to represent the three minterms. Somewhere I have lost my stylus. Let's see if I can get it back. There we go. All right, on the first row, I'm going to put, just to get them more confident, it don't matter what order we put them in. I'm going to do the third one first because it's the more complicated. That's going to be A, B naught, C naught. And we don't have to put the knots on the letters here because we're using the normally closed contact. That does the knot function for me. And then that's going to connect out here to my output. And that's going to connect to the L2 rail. And then we need two more rows. Well, two branches off of that same row, I should say. So let's do the first one here. That's going to be C. D. I can't get my tray to move out of the way. Here it went. And then down here, we've got A and D. So that's how we would implement that function on the PLC and ladder lock. I want to show you a couple more, not really examples of full example, but just some short examples of some other combinations we could possibly have. First of all, it is possible to have a single one that can't be grouped into a group. Suppose, and I'm just going to draw these in, suppose I got a 1 there, and then maybe a 1 here, and a 1 there, and a 1 here. Let's go ahead and do that so we can have a group of 4 there. So I have one group that I can group there, and since that's 4 in one group, that's going to give me an n term with 2 terms, a min term with 2 terms. In this case, we'll call that M1. I'm not going to do colors anymore. M1 is, we already had that one on another thing. That's all in D and all in A. So this is the AD. But there's nothing with the one in the left to connect with. So M2 is going to be a single one without anything to group with. So that's going to be A naught, B naught, C naught, D naught. See, it gets all 4 because it didn't have anything to group with. So then that entire function would be A naught, B naught, C naught, D naught, or AD. Suppose now that I have one that has ones in just these 4. I can wrap that one around. That's a 1 there, just didn't turn out good. And we'll just call that M1, or that'll be Y, since there's only one min term. And let's see, because there's 4 of them, it's just going to have 2 variables. Notice that it is all in D, but it's in C naught and D naught, and it's all in B naught. So that one's going to be B naught D. Similarly, we can loop around the top. And it don't have to be the middle. It could have been the 2 bottom ones on both sides, or the 2 top ones on both sides would still work. Or I could have all 4 on the right and all 4 on the left. That would give me a group of 8. Let's see, where's my page go to? There it is. Now, let's suppose, let's do one. Well, let's just do the one I mentioned. Suppose the middle is all zeros. Since that's 8, that should come down to a single variable. Might be a knot of a variable. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to end up being B naught. Because it's in both A and A naught. It's in C and C naught, D and D naught, but it's only in B naught. So that one is simply B naught. And neither of these things we just did side to side, we can also do at the top. Suppose I have or I could do all 4 all the way across like we just did here, but let's just do a 4 here. Since there's only one min term, we'd say Y equals M1 equals. All right, this one is in B and B naught, but it's all in A. It's going to have an A in it. It is in C and C naught, but it's all in D naught. So that's what that one would be. I do want to do one more because this one is very easy to miss, and it does happen from time to time. I'll open a new page. Suppose that I have ones in the four corners. I can group those together as a group of four because they're all adjacent to each other. It's not obvious, but yes, you can do that. That is a group of four. So again, this is the one min term. With four, we're going to get two letters. That's in A naught and A, but it's all in B naught. It's in C naught and C, but it's all in D naught. So you see, there's a lot of different possibilities. That's the end of this lecture. I've got one more lecture I want to do. I'm not going to give you a homework for this lecture, but when I put the next one out, it will have a homework set with it. It's going to talk about something we call don't cares. And I'll explain this more in the next lecture, but I'll give you a brief introduction here. What if this one, this one, this one, and this one were input combinations that I'm not going to allow to happen for whatever reason? Then I don't care what their outputs produce. And then I could group all those together like we did the last time and just have B naught. Simplify it there. So the next lecture we'll be adding some don't cares into some Karnaugh maps and seeing how we can exploit those to simplify things even more. Hope you're having a good isolation and everybody's staying safe and healthy. And look for my next lecture soon, next couple of days.